I can't even turn the video off without taking it off. I can see my future. And it's one of misery. I feel super unprepared for this video because I forgot to film a lot of the start of me making this dress. I'll use this portion just to explain the concept. There's a piece of fan art that I really like where Valentino is gender bent and they drew her in a dress instead of a coat. So that's the vibe we're going for. Anyway, I'm gonna let past me take over the commentary from where I did remember to talk about what I was doing. I have basically added a trim in horsehair to this dress to give it more length, to give it structure at the bottom, and to support the fur a little bit, because obviously this is all stretched, so it's not the most supportive fabric. So just like his original design, I wanted to add the kind of black and white fluff, moth fluff that is around the bottom of the coat, and specifically wanted to overlap the two bottom pieces so one of them crosses over and then goes up, because it mimics the way that the coat is technically his wings, so the dress is technically the wings. In real life there would be a seam down the front, but obviously I'm not doing that, and I think it would just completely mess up the shape of the dress. If I wore heels this high, they just peek out. Will I wear heels this high? At con? Maybe not. But it's good to know like it's not stupidly up and it's also not completely hitting the ground. Love. Just checking in because I'm currently just cutting out more pieces of fur. We hit one of the 3 holy steps of making a cosplay. I nicked myself with a razor and we're bleeding. So we've just got crying and sleep to go. This is a milestone. I'm gonna get back to it. Yeah, I'm essentially just cutting out more fur pieces because it's gonna go up the dress now and they're gonna get a bit smaller. It took me a good couple of hours to sew all this fur onto the dress. I had to pin it on whilst I was wearing it so that it stretched correctly and then whip stitch it all the way down. So yeah, after all of this fur, I inhaled so much and I needed a break. So moving on to the gloves. As much as I love arm socks, having arm socks on your hands all day is annoying. The plan is literally these long gloves. They're actually really good quality for Amazon gloves. I'm so used to them being like really chunky on the fingers and they don't fit me completely, but they fit me enough. I could probably turn them inside out and just like stitch and cut and just fit into my fingers a bit better. Some fake acrylics that I'm literally just going to glue to them and then rhinestone them so they're gold sparkly claws. They're done, they're all glued on. But the idea is to move the rhinestones like a little bit over the edge and hopefully none of them will fall off. Also thinking about buying, I don't know if there's like a little pad you can get so that I can tap screens, because already I can tell this is going to be so annoying. But, oh yeah, also it's ruined my fingernails.
Basically, when I was putting all the rhinestones on, I made sure to alternate between different sizes. So I'd start by putting on some of the really like larger ones and then decreasing the size around them and then using the really tiny ones to fill in the gaps. So it just created this really nice like effect with them, where if I had used all one size, you know, it still would have worked, but I just think it's way more visually interesting to have a mixture. It kind of looks like candy, like it looks kind of tasty, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've recently been trying my best not to buy new wigs when it comes to cosplay. I own so many, so finding what I own and just restoring them has been like an amazing thing to learn. This is my old Imogen wig and she's a mess. I think I actually only wore her like once and for some reason it just destroyed her. But what I just need to do was detangle her, so I mix 1 cup of fabric softener and then the rest is water, and then I use 2 combs. This plastic one genuinely is the best one, that's my go-to, but if it's really difficult to get through the knots then I'll go with this one that has metal prongs. I don't know if that's the right word for it. So you can see here I started with the pink metal comb and then I went into the plastic one to smooth it out and then let it dry. And the curls stay in place. There will be some hair shed, but it restores it completely and it's wonderful.
Normally, you know, when I need to make a wig for a character, I go, let me look at the reference image. But this time, like, let me go look at the reference image. And he's bold, so I don't really know what to do. My current plan is to like push these up and leave some kind of face framing pieces and then put the rest into 2 braids down the back. Maybe I can add something fun in the braids, unsure. I also don't know if I'm going to do a hat, but I also do kind of want to lean more into like the moth aspect of the character, and I want to do the feathers, well, his antenna just coming out of my head. So I bought these. If we get the vision, I can kind of cut them up and then alternate, at least for the big one. Not really sure what I'm going to do for the little damaged one. I've got a couple of them, so I might experiment with like trimming them and like just making it look like really tattered. But then also a big fabulous hat would also be really cool. First step is to make the antenna. I did a test with some smaller feathers that I have. If you cut them, you get kind of like little heart shapes, and obviously like I can trim them. So I think that's going to be the plan, keeping like one white one and then cutting the black one into the hearts.
These feathers were so gorgeous. It was so hard to cut them, I'm not gonna lie to you. But yes, I just start by like trimming the top of one. Like you automatically get this kind of shape that is very heart-like, and you'll see that I do really trim it to be like a heart and have very rough edges, but I ended up going back and removing it and actually sticking more with the fluffiness of it. Hairspray is my best friend in this process. It wouldn't make everything stiff, but it would keep the fibres kind of in place and make it a lot easier to cut into it. And then I would brush it out because I didn't want it to be a complete harsh line, which is exactly why I redid this heart.
This is my original one. I actually ripped it off and put a fluffy one on, but I think this one would be really good for the little damaged one. Like, and I don't know how I'm going to attach it. I'm thinking about skinning one of these and completely cutting off all the feathers and then gluing these on up it instead, because the base of the feathers are actually quite good. Then trim this up and then I'm going to rhinestone it. Just checking in. This is kind of what I've gone with. I think this one needs a little bit more of a trim. The heart shapes aren't as blunt as these ones you see. I think this method really worked for this one. Like, it's so cute. And the stalks of the feathers are like strong enough to like support it. Like, I'm not scared about these falling off. And the antennas have officially been rhinestoned. I'll insert that here. But yeah, for the final part of this video, I want to go over the wig because I did test out the plait idea, although it wouldn't be exactly like this. And then it with the ruff. Obviously this ruff is going to be given more volume and looking a bit more snazzy than this flat thing. But I think I've definitely gone with just hair down with the curls. So I went ahead and added some volume to the front of the wig, just in the fringe where it will like frame the face. And a little mini tutorial, if you take the section that you want and then you separate kind of the section that will lie on top of it and the section that will lie like at the front, and you only backcomb the bit you got left. I'm using this brush. I'm actually not sure what it's called, but I watched a drag tutorial once and they really recommended it. Yeah, just it's my backcombing brush. It's so good. And then once you backcomb it, if you just smooth out the fibers like over the top of it, and then hairspray and use some heat to set it. I didn't, I just held it in place. Not following my own tutorial. You have this volume without having all this like nasty backcombing look to it. Some bits might fall off. I just went in and used a really light bit of glue to hold them in place. Voila, it looks really stupid because I've got no makeup on, but it looks a lot better than the flat wig. Also, I've decided that I'm going with a hat, so this is gonna look really good with the hat. I also just like clipped it back in place real quick, hairsprayed it again, just so it would sit a little better. So I quickly added in some rhinestones. I think I'm going to change the look of them, but this is it for now. This is what it looks like with no hat. So basically decided for me, hat. It also looks really weird because like no makeup on. I also did work out a way to attach the antenna using like foam blocks, because you can like, stick these in here and they hold. So if you put these into the wig, if anyone wants to do it, this is it. I actually don't know what, they're kind of like dense foam. I don't know what kind of foam, can't help you there. Like, because I'm, this is so stupid. I've like stuck this one in and I just think we need a hat. We need hat, we need more. I'm also gonna completely redo the rhinestones. I'm gonna add more, I think, like little ones, because at the minute like it's like this bit styled but nothing else is, and it looks really, really awkward. So next week, hat is the plan. Actually maybe tomorrow I'm gonna go and find a hat. Yeah, but that will be in part 2 when the hat's acquired. I also I'm like a lot more busy now because I've got like a full-time job. So I don't have as much time to work on my cosplays, and obviously I'm going to take this to MCM this May, at the end of the May month. So I have weekends to work on it. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and my socials are in the description below. My Instagram and TikTok mainly. If you want to keep up to date with anything in real time rather than wait for the video, I recommend heading over there. I'm really fun over there, I promise. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Bye!